Okay, we're live.
Hey everyone, welcome.
Hello.
We're getting set up. Hey, glad you're here today. We're really excited to have you all. Please say hello when you log in, share your name, where you're from. We are so excited to get started and have this conversation today. We're going to give folks a couple of minutes to get logged in. So, hello, Ernest and Kurt. Great to see you. We're just going to have a great conversation today. Hi, Jerry. Hey, from Arizona.
Hello.
So Fiona and I are going to be keeping it real, opening up the conversation. Questions are welcome. We've got Nuno from New Jersey. Welcome. It's great to have you here. We're going to be welcoming your questions. So feel free to put what you would like to ask, anything you're curious about, right into the chat box. And then Fiona, who's going to be doing double duty tonight, she's going to be answering questions from her point of view and also managing the questions. So we're really excited. We're going to give everyone a couple of minutes to get logged in, and then we're going to get started. So, hey, Kim from California, great to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us. And Sam from Los Angeles, Louisiana. I'm not sure. So, Sam, great to have you. And again, we're so excited. I'm here in Portugal. I'm actually up in Porto right now, and Fiona is down in the Silver Coast in Alcobaça. Hey, Sherry, welcome from Arizona. So great to have you. Oh, and Sam's from Los Angeles. All right, that's great. So, you never know. I have to be careful. So great to have you here as well. It's a beautiful evening here in Portugal, up here in Porto. It's lovely. It's about 20 degrees Celsius and really comfortable. And it's just the top of the hour. So it's right about 6 o'clock. So really excited again to have you all here. Please say hello and tell us where you're from. So we've got Cinda from Silver City. Welcome. And also Shelly, hey, from Seattle, a Northwesterner. That's my stomping grounds, Oregon originally. Fiona and I moved to Portugal from Oregon, so great to have you. Hey, Lisa, hi from Arizona. Great to see you. So excited to have folks that I recognize the names and new folks as well. So again, we're going to give people a couple minutes to get logged in. And then when you have questions, if you have comments, things you want to chat about, just feel free to put them into the comment box and we will get to as many of those conversations as possible. So really excited to have you here, and we're just thrilled to be able to share our experiences. Hey. So it's good to see you, Lisa. And again, we're here in Portugal right now and enjoying a fantastic summer day. We're going to talk about life here in Portugal. Fiona's going to share her perspective and really share how we are all coming together in this beautiful country. Bandon, hey, Sherry, hi. Oh my gosh, great to have you on the call. And Vivian from California, fantastic. Welcome to the chat. So if you haven't been with us before, we really like to just keep the conversation going, answering questions, diving into the topics, and we are ready to have those conversations. So please feel free to put the comments in the comment section. Fiona is managing our Instagram live as well as working here and sharing her experiences. So she's got double duty today. Usually she's behind the scenes, but I've said this time you are up front and out on the
out
call.
in the open.
Yes, we've exposed you. We pulled you out to the front. So
we have our first question.
Is it hot there? Well, Porto, no, it's very lovely right now. It's like the perfect temperature. It's about 70 degrees at the moment, and just perfect for sitting outside and having a cocktail or wine and enjoying a day in the city. Fiona, how is it where you are?
Yeah, it's about the same. It was a good day. 70 degrees, not too hot, not too cool. A little clouds, but like that perfect temperature. You can still wear shorts and sandals and be not sweating to death.
Absolutely. Well, it is the top of the hour, so we're going to get going. And before we get started with your questions, and again, we'll be diving into those, we thought we'd share a little bit about our background and where we are and how we are here having this conversation. So my name is Colleen, and I am the co-founder and CEO of Portugal the Place. And we moved to Portugal 5 years ago. and we brought my whole family. We decided to change everything. We sold everything we owned in Portland, Oregon, and we came across over to Portugal with, at the time, my father, who was 81 at the time, with our big fluffy Newfie Doodle Dutch, who's about 125 pounds, and in tow about a year later, our lovely daughter Fiona. So Fiona was one of the main reasons that we moved to Portugal. We really wanted to have an opportunity for Fiona to have a life in Europe and to experience a different culture and approach, and of course, safety, and the safety of our family and the security and safety of our child was really important to Clyde and I, my husband. And really, we were just fed up with how things had been going. And so now we're here. We help folks relocate to Portugal, and we're very proud of the fact that we have a very large community that we've supported from the LGBTQ community, and they continue to come, and we continue to wrap our arms around everyone. So it's something we're very passionate about and committed to, helping people, get relocated and find their feet and a soft landing in a new
Absolutely.
country. So Fiona, you want to share a little bit about how it feels for you to be here, your journey?
Well, first of all, yes, thank you. I am going to start off saying I love living in Portugal. The journey to Portugal, the journey of being in Portugal has been one that I love and I love to talk about, so I'm really happy to be here. So far, my journey, I've been here 4 years this year in October, and I would say when I first landed in Portugal, it's kind of like love at first sight, like loving the things that I didn't know, or I didn't really know where Portugal was. I'd never been to Portugal before, and I was a little nervous coming over here and trying to figure out why my parents had made this move across the world, not just the country, across the world, and taken, as she said, our entire family, including dog, in tow. So I was a little nervous about it, but after being here maybe a few months, once I settled in, a few months, I started to see what life could be like for me here in Portugal. And Portugal is actually the reason that I met my partner and girlfriend, Raven. So I have a lot of love for this country and a lot of love for the people that I've met in this country. And so far, my journey has been a journey, but one that I'm proud of and I like to live.
That's and we're really blessed and lucky to have our daughter right here close by and in Portugal with us, because from a safety standpoint and from peace of mind and knowing that we can watch her grow and flourish and live her best life with a sense of peace has been the most rewarding part for us. Look, living now in Portugal and witnessing this kind of transformation. So I know that we've got questions already coming in, and I know Shelley has one of the first questions here, comparing Porto to Seattle in terms of rain. Well, the great thing is it's not like Seattle. It doesn't have the winter at all. You're not going to have ice storms where the rain and the ice and everything, snow and people sliding down hills. It just doesn't happen. But it does rain more in Porto than it does, for example, in the Silver Coast and farther south. So Porto would be more similar. It gets about 250 days of sunshine a year. You definitely have a rainy season here. You pick up the rain starting in, November, and it rains on and off through March. One of the differences, though, compared to the Northwest, being a girl from Oregon and being very familiar with Seattle, is it doesn't have the heavy, predominant gray, overcast, constant kind of gray, drizzly experience. You
Mm,
get a little more of that in Porto, but it is more like rain and then sun, rain and then sun. So it's not like Seattle in the fact that the winter is not nearly as severe. It's not as long of a rainy season, and you have stupendous, fabulous sun from spring through fall.
yeah.
All right. All right. Oh, thank you, Don. Thank you. All right. Do we have another? Fiona, this is for you.
Yes. Do I feel as though I can live openly in Portugal? Yes, absolutely. I think that's one of the biggest things that I share with people when I talk to them about living in Portugal as a queer, especially young queer woman. I feel that I can live openly. I don't have to worry about public affections of love, display, anything. People just kind of go about their own business here and they don't really pay you any mind, which I feel has made me feel safe and like I can be open and comfortable and not really think about it the way that I used to have to think about it back in the States, for
How
sure.
was Pride? You went to Pride this last weekend. How was it down
Yes.
in
Yes,
Lisbon?
we went, down to Pride in Lisbon. It was such a great experience. It was a little different, I guess, this year. This was our first time there, so we had a blast, but everybody was just themselves. It was such a beautiful thing to see people just being happy and, like, nobody you didn't feel unsafe, you didn't feel like you had to look over your shoulder or kind of, like, feel weird about being one of the ones going down to Pride. It was just safe and happy and great vibes, and yeah, it was so fun. So much fun.
That's fantastic.
Okay.
All right. Oh, thank you, Rebecca. Thank you. We are really excited to have you here today. So thank you for joining us. And if you've got any questions or anything we can jump into, and it can be about any subject about moving to Portugal. So we really want to keep this open to any topic that really you feel like you have a question about. We want to be here and available to answer it. Thank you. Thank you, Rebecca. All right, Cindy, are same sex marriages in the US honored as marriages? Absolutely. Portugal has it in the Constitution recognizing the same sex marriage. And so legal marriages from the United States are completely recognized. So that's not an issue at all here. All right. And Sherry, are international schools open to the LGBTQ community? Absolutely. There are different schools across Portugal, and the international schools, you can have either the British track or, the American international track, but they are very open to and very aware of children coming in with all types of backgrounds and interests. And so that's something you can be confident in. And even the private schools that are even religious based, Catholic based here in Portugal, are very calm and very welcoming. They don't have that same kind of structure that you might find in other countries. So whether you go international or private or even public, it's not something that has been an issue for our guests and for the folks that have relocated here.
Yep.
All right.
Fiona, is that acceptance found outside of Lisbon also? Yes, and I see another comment on here. If I feel okay in the area that's not a major city, absolutely. Absolutely. No doubt about it. It's pretty much the same throughout the country. I feel even if there like was any type of like I don't even know. I've never felt any of that in Portugal, but I think even if there was, it would never turn to violence. It would turn more to just like maybe a confused look and then a look away, but never ever worried about it resulting in anything violent, let alone it really ever happening. But if it were to happen, I know it would not head in a violent, scary direction.
Well, we were out in the Alentejo out recently where we were out in a very rural area that has a lot of small villages and things. And Raven and Fiona were with us and walking around and together. And I think you get more, sorry, that is weird. You get more questions about, you get more questions about being American, I think, than anything else. They hear the English being
Yes, yes, yes. That's
spoken.
what I was trying to say. Like, even if it really is anything, I think there's other factors that they're more confused about first.
Yeah, yeah, like they're more
Yeah.
confused. And like I never blend. So people always look at me like I get like the head turn. Fiona, they think you're Brazilian a lot of times.
Yes. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I absolutely get Brazilian all the time. And I get people coming up to me just speaking Portuguese and more confused when I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't understand entirely. They're like, really? Yeah.
I think those have been the more confused looks than
Yeah.
you and
Yeah.
Raven being
Absolutely.
together.
Absolutely.
So,
Okay. Let's see. Another question here.
are some areas of Portugal more open than others? We're looking at the Silver Coast inland and the Azores. So, Cinda, I think that mainland Portugal is by far much more accommodating. The islands are still a little bit more rural. The towns are a lot smaller, and though they don't have any issues per se, it's still part of the Portuguese culture. They are different, and the Azores, depending on what you're looking at, can feel a little isolated and a little more agricultural. So you just don't get the same vibrancy of community across Portugal. The Silver Coast, for example, has a very large population community all over the major areas, the Algarve, Lisboa, Silver Coast, Porto, Braga, all these different areas have international and local LGBTQ communities. So you can find your spot on the mainland Portugal. The islands, I would definitely say you'd have to be aware because certain parts are going to be very quiet and rural and not have quite the same infrastructure for support.
Great answer.
All right. With the current US administration, have any barriers or new considerations been put in place for those of us looking to live in Portugal? Well, not in regards to the LGBTQ community, but they are right now doing some immigration reform at the moment that is in process. It hasn't been finalized and hasn't been voted on. Portugal, just like every other place in Europe and across the world, is having challenges with immigration, putting a strain on their public services. And the immigration that they're primarily dealing with are undocumented, low skilled workers that are coming in and then using all the systems, and it's really become challenging. They're having a lot of issues. So they just had a snap election. There was a move towards the right. It did not move entirely to the right. It's center right now. But one of the big things that was of concern to the Portuguese people was trying to create a balance. So right now there is a lot of legislation that is being voted on next week, which we expect to pass. They say they have the votes to pass. And one of the things that they are discussing is moving the citizenship opportunity from 5 years after you've been on a residence permit to 10 years. And that's a big ouch for us, for me. We were right at the moment where we're getting ready to be able to apply. And now, if this passes next week, we will have another 5 years before we can apply. And at first, I was really like, oh, this is, they're targeting. I felt it, right, Fiona? We were like, oh, it feels like we're
Yeah,
being targeted. But the more I think about it, and the more you realize that the Portuguese people were feeling like people were being handed citizenship that didn't have the language, that hadn't integrated into the culture, that were basically buying the citizenship, it makes sense. And I love Portugal enough, and I have absolutely no issues with my life here or my lifestyle, that if I need to spend another 5 years on a residency permit to get citizenship, I understand and I feel that that makes sense. They're also streamlining what they call the job seeker visa. That was the one that was causing a lot of problems. It used to be you could come in without a job and then find one when you get here on that D3. And now they're requiring you have a job before you come here. And so that's one of the most significant changes. It feels tough right now because they're trying to find a way to deal with the impact on their economy and on their services. But I also see them as being very welcoming to people that want to commit to the culture, that want to provide and be part of the economy and really support Portugal and become, connected in a way that's meaningful.
absolutely. Yep, absolutely. Okay, I'll take this question. As
All
a
right.
young person relocating to Portugal, what were your concerns and what was a nice surprise that you did not expect? It's a great question. I think I guess my biggest concern was finding community, um, the language barrier, of course, and discrimination at first because you read online and you wonder, you see the Facebook posts, the group posts, and I think those three were my biggest concerns. 4 years later, they are now, I'm not concerned about those at all. Finding community has been actually easier here than I think in the States because the people that are over here building community they're really tight knit and we all have kind of gone through the same transition together and the same things and we all kind of bond over liking the same things, the love of travel, the love of food, the love of beach days. So I think finding community over here has almost been a little easier in a way. Um, a nice surprise. Oh, that's a good one.
Probably
Mm,
the fact that you have your own apartment that is
yeah, I was gonna say my budget being able to go as far as it does, every acts of everyday kindness, the warmth of the queer spaces in Portugal, uh, the celebration of just life every day, and I think everything has surprised me in the most amazing way. I think the discrimination not being as big of a piece as I thought it was gonna be was a surprise, a really happy surprise. The kindness, the warmth that I felt being here, the people I've met here. Yeah, I could go on and on about the nice surprises that I didn't expect because there's been so many, so many.
And do you feel the same way about from the discrimination? I know we're focused on the LGBTQ, but as a woman of
Mhm.
color, as it felt in both spaces that you're able to breathe? How does it feel?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, both spaces, I'm able to breathe. Absolutely, it's, yeah, absolutely. It goes for like both communities that I am in. I actually am in a group chat in Lisbon called Black Queers of Portugal, and it's just a whole bunch of people, Black queer. They host meetups and do events, and I made a whole community there easily just by getting added to a group chat. When the blackout happened, all that stuff, everyone by the community in Lisbon were helping get water, first aid kits, talking about how we need to prepare for stuff like this. It's just like the people that are over here and the ones that get it and our friends are just it's just a good community, you know? I don't even know how to put it into words. It's a great community for sure
That's
in
awesome.
both aspects.
We have a lot of questions here. Let's try to jump in on some
Yeah.
more. What do we have for us? So Morgan is asking, do you have transgender loved ones in Portugal? I'm curious about access to gender affirming care and how easy or difficult it might be to obtain. We do have loved ones. They aren't family by blood, but they are family by community, and we are really proud of the family that we've moved here and helped get settled in. We have quite a significant amount of folks that have moved over either with transgender children or they themselves are looking for a safer and more peaceful way of life. So it has been the biggest challenge is to help people realize that they don't need to keep the armor up, that there isn't that constant sense of trying to keep a safe space around you because at any moment there could be a microaggression or a large aggression. It's just that's a big learning curve for people as they move over here, is that it isn't a significant issue, so people they just don't pay any attention. So once you get through that, the settling in is really, really comfortable. It's just that's a challenging part at first, to let go of a lot of those barriers you put up to protect yourself. The gender affirming care and endocrinologists and the folks that you need to support your health during your life in Portugal is readily available in the large communities. So if you live on the Silver Coast, you would probably end up going to Lisbon, which is about an hour away. Porto, Coimbra, Lisbon, down in the Algarve are all going to have the doctors and services you need. More rural areas, just like in the States, you would go to your metropolitan area for care.
Yep.
All right.
All right. No question.
All right. Shelley is asking, are there queer affirming faith communities? That's a great question because Fiona and I don't really know.
I'm not sure if I know the answer to that one.
The answer. That's a great question, but
I would believe so. I feel like so.
have you had anyone
I'm
tell you?
no, no, I'm not sure about that one. No,
We'll have
that's one we will
to-
look into. Yeah,
That's a
we'll look
good
into that
question.
one.
You stumped us on that one because I'm not sure on that one. All right. Lisa's asking, what advice would you give to those 18 and under about moving to Portugal? Some younger family members might not feel thrilled about the transition. Based on your experience, what insights or encouragement can you offer to help ease their concerns? I think that's geared at you, Fiona.
Man, um,
I think
that's
probably the
yeah,
biggest thing, and I know this one's hard because each child is different, each young person is different, but it's not, you're kind of a rock star when you're an American here, when you're a kid.
that's a good way
It's
to put it. That's a good way to put it. I was gonna say like the leap is worth it. So I think maybe our answer is the leap is worth it, and you are kind of viewed as like a rock star, you know, like the cool kids, something like new, you know?
the kids, it's interesting because the kids that have transitioned over into the schools, and these are queer
Hmm.
kids, straight kids, they get this whole like automatic entry into society because the kids are like, tell me about living in America. Do you really get to drive when you're 16? Does this really happen? Like,
Absolutely. Yeah, they see the stuff in the movies too. They always have questions about that. Yeah, absolutely. And also for someone younger, the younger generation here is very, very, very in tune with American music, American pop culture. I mean, they make TikTok dances and they know all about social media. So I would say, even in my age range from 20 to 25, most people that are Portuguese and living here know a lot about the American films. I have friends that have seen more American movies and know more songs than me. So I think if you're under 18, don't really it can be scary moving to a new country, not really knowing what to expect, but I can promise you that don't expect anything scary. Don't feel like you're not going to fit in because it's actually kind of the opposite. It really is.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So Cinda's asking, Joe and I worry about learning the language. We'd be retiring there. How difficult is it? And are language schools available in most of the larger cities? So, yes, language schools are available across small and large cities. There are online programs, in person tutors, class settings, individual. It's readily available. So, that is something that you will be having available to you. Language is hard. Okay. Portuguese is not intuitive. One of the things that throws most people off is you cannot phonetically sound out Portuguese. You almost have to decide that the sound is going to be totally opposite than what it looks like it should be. So, one, you're going to have to kind of just take a deep breath, especially if you're a little type A and you like to get things done right away. It's kicked my butt. I am not learning as fast as I hoped I would. But now I'm buckling down and have a tutor coming on board because of wanting to get that language requirement done and really wanting to talk to my Portuguese friends in Portuguese. I want to, as many of them have said, you know people more and in a different way when you get to speak to them in their native tongue. So I wouldn't get overly worried. People speak English. They're very welcoming. They always say, oh, let's switch to English because Portuguese is so hard. That's probably the biggest challenge in learning here is the Portuguese all just want to use their English. But you can get access
Yeah.
for classes.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. And what are some practical ways for younger families to build a sense of community after relocating? Is it easy for teens to find friends and connect with others their age? So, Fiona, do you want to jump in on this one?
Yes. Sorry. Oh, okay. I think okay, for I can definitely jump in on the teens and connecting with others their age. I would say hobbies, anything that they like to do. That could even be as much as just going out to one of the many festivals in Portugal. I think anything, um, yeah, look, festivals, hobbies, the schools here are really good at bringing kids together. We've had a lot of kids around 15, 16, 17 move over here, and they've integrated into the schools pretty well, right?
Yeah, and I think the one thing that's weird for Americans is we've gotten to be pretty helicopter parents because of all the fear around safety, physical safety, bullying, all of that. Not to say that they don't have issues in Portugal. Of course, you have to be practical and people are humans, but the safety concern is completely different. And so you'll see young people having more freedom. They go out on their own, they go to the festivals. Parents aren't constantly worried about them. It's not unusual to see a gang of teenagers sitting at a cafe, and it's really weird to see them talking and having coffee and doing their homework.
Right.
Looking like grown-ups, because they're very comfortable in that setting. And so I think one of the things to get the parents prepared for is if they've got teenagers is to giving them a little bit more of a looser lead that they can have more
Mhm.
space to go out and experience that. And football, number one thing that will get everybody connected.
Yeah.
You've got to connect. We are Benfica fans, so we'll just say that if you're a Benfica fan, you will find your tribe, and everybody will then communicate no matter what language they speak.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, get some thank yous in here. Don Walsh.
Yes, yes, that is absolutely true. All
Yep.
right, we've got some more
Yep.
questions to queue up here.
Yes, we do.
Okay. Ways for older queer folks to find networks to build community with other expats and local folks as well. So, if you move to any of the major areas that people are drawn to, again, the Silver Coast, Porto, Algarve, Lisboa, Setúbal, Braga, these areas, even Viana do Castelo, Coimbra, there is such a depth of expat communities. You find them on Facebook. The meetups are always posted, and then they kind of go into subgroups as well. I don't think, Cinda, you would have any difficulty finding people to connect with. When you work with us, for example, Portugal the Place, we have a community of Portugal the Place clients that we connect everyone to. And we have groups all over the country where people are connected and they welcome everyone and kind of help you get settled in and meet other people. So it's actually the thing I get fed back to me the most is for retirees, especially who've been working and raising kids. They're like, I've never had a social life like I've had in Portugal. They thought they would be like really quiet and mellow, and they're like, I've never been this busy. I'm invited everywhere. So
Yeah.
you see that too, right, Fee? That there's stuff
Yes, yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
it's totally different. So Cindy, I don't think that'll be something that'll be difficult for you at all.
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost like taking on another job, going to
Yeah,
all the meetups and all the social stuff.
for the introverts, it's a lot. It's like, wow, who are all these people? So definitely something that happens. And Shelley's asking if there are college courses in art that are available in English. Yes, there are. There are art schools here in Portugal. Here in Porto, there's a really famous art school that have classes in English and Portuguese. Caldas has a very well-known art school as well, Lisboa. There are art classes. You can go to certification courses. A lot of young people really love getting into the tourism and hospitality. And because that is all taught in English, because that's the universal business language for hospitality, digital marketing, there's quite a lot of different college education opportunities that are taught in English.
Yep, absolutely. Great answer.
Sherry's asking, my wife is deaf. Are you familiar with the deaf LGBTQ community and how can we connect? I am not. Fiona, do you know of any folks that have presented?
No, 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 no.
We can certainly look into it for you, Sherry. There's probably folks we could reach out to and find
Absolutely.
that group for you. But off the top of my head, I'm not familiar with a specific community in the LGBT group that are deaf, but certainly something we would look into for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and Vivian is asking, thank you both for the info. I need to jump off soon to work. I've tried to contact P2P to help my family relocate. Would love to set up a call. Thank you. Perfect, Vivian. Fiona will have your information. We'll send out a feed of this so you can continue to watch it later, and everyone will get the recording of this webinar. And then Fiona, you have Vivian's email, so we can send out a
Yes.
message to get you connected. Thanks so much and have a great day at work. All right. Okay. Oh, yay, you're coming in September. Fantastic. Well, we look forward. September is a beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful month. One of my favorite times of year. When we moved to Portugal from Oregon, I thought we were going to lose some of the seasons. I thought it was going to be kind of more California without like a heavy rotation of seasons. And fall was always one of my favorite. And the beauty of it is Portugal has an amazing fall and autumn. It's just lovely. You get sweater weather, but it's sunny in the daytime. The leaves change. So it's really been a pleasant surprise to realize how beautiful the fall is here in Portugal. All right.
I absolutely agree. 100%.
All right. So Jerry's asking, we'll be having more webinars in the future, and do you email them to subscribers? Absolutely.
Both.
We try to do 2 a month at least. We try to do Q&As. This is Pride Month, so we really felt we wanted to make sure we were here in this space and sharing as much information as possible. But we have Q&A, general Q&A webinars, and then we bring partners on as well. So Jerry, we'd absolutely love to have you join us as many times as you'd like. All right. So Sam is saying, thank you for providing this helpful information. I'm planning to move to Porto from LA, and I had a meeting scheduled Monday, 9 a.m. with you on the help you provide to help to move to Portugal, but I never received a link, and I sent a message, but no response. How do I get a hold of you? That's really concerning, and I'm really glad you're bringing that up. Fiona will take your information right here, follow up, circle around, and see if something happened with a broken link or something. We do use one of those systems that help us schedule, and occasionally things do get lost.
All
So
through the
Sam,
cracks, yeah.
yeah, thank you so much. We will do that'll be an immediate response that Fiona will get out to you to make sure that you have all the information. All right.
Okay, another question here from Sherry.
You're visiting Portugal in July. We were going to check out high schools. Are they even open at that time? No, they're not, Sherry. So unfortunately, you won't be able to check out schools in July. They've already school was out last week, and they don't go back in. The administrative staff doesn't go back into the third week of August. So unfortunately, right now, between now and the end of August, there isn't any opportunity to go to the high schools or check them out. And Jerry, do you email? Yes, we do. Everyone will receive the link back to this recording. Absolutely. All
Just
right.
email.
Oh, perfect. So Fiona's going to grab that email. Thank you, Sam. That's great. Thank you so much. All right. And Amber's asking, how hot does it get in the summer? Any AC in residences? So it depends on what part of Portugal you're in for this answer. If you're in the Algarve, it is absolutely hot in the summer. You can easily get into high 80s, 90s, and even the hundreds. And they do have a lot of AC installed in the Algarve because that's pretty traditional down there. Lisboa and the Lisbon greater metropolitan area is slightly cooler than that. A hot day there, a kind of record breaking day would be if it was in the 90s. And air conditioning is like 50-50. The brand new places have air conditioning. The older places probably don't. So that one can really just depend on what you're looking at, what your budget is. But you definitely can find places with AC. As you move up to the Silver Coast, like if you're in our area on the Silver Coast, it can definitely feel like the hotter days, like it feels like it's a really hot day if it's getting into the 80s. Most of the time it's in the 70s. It's very comfortable. We have AC, but we don't use it most of the time because it's just so lovely. And if you're on the coast, you can just do a cross breeze with your windows and it's just fresh and comfortable. So very comfortable. And as you move farther north on the coast, it's the same. If you go inland, Braga, Coimbra, farther inland, the Douro, those places are hot. I have to say, hot. Braga's probably been one of the hottest places I've ever been in August ever. And I lived in Palm Springs, and Braga was like, what? It was so hot. So luckily there is air conditioning up there, but there's a lot of microclimates in Portugal, so that could really vary. You can be 30 miles from two places and have a 10 to 15 degree variant
Yeah, easily.
easily. So Glenda's asking, do you know anything about the coming changes to the tax structure in Portugal? So there is a proposed change to the tax structure. It has not been passed yet, and there's very little information about it. There is an idea of extending or changing back to an incentive for expats that are coming in, but the only thing that we've heard is a proposal for some, depending on their status and if they're like high skilled labor workers, like if they're professionals, things like that they're trying to entice, could perhaps get a 20% flat tax for 10 years. But it has not been passed. There has been no details, and it's still very controversial. So at this point, there isn't anything official. And Raven's asking, what's been the most meaningful or unexpected moment you've had helping a queer client or family relocate? So Fiona, do you want to jump in?
I mean, I feel like you might have a better,
Okay.
I'm it's a bit, oh.
Well, I think for me, is watching people settle into their life and realizing that they can let go of all of those things that have been so heavy. And it's one of the things I say quite often to folks is you don't realize what you've been carrying until it's gone. And then you kind of notice a lightness about yourself and openness that I'll speak to it as a woman, being in a safe space. Last night, I was walking back from dinner in Porto in the middle of the city at midnight, walking back to my hotel. And I'm just like, walking along, realizing I don't have keys in my hand. I'm not
Not
worried,
looking over your shoulder
looking over
constantly.
my shoulder.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about my personal safety in a large city. I'm just, I'm not in a dark alley, but I'm walking down a public
Yeah,
street to the hotel and it feels safe and comfortable and you're confident. So
absolutely.
for the communities that come from really stressful situations in the States, like the queer community, to see people relax, to lean in, to be all of a sudden their authentic selves. I've seen it with Fiona. That's been
Yeah,
one of the most amazing things is I watched this beautiful light, this beautiful human being get suppressed and pushed down and not being able to be her authentic self. And now, I mean, it puts a lump in my throat because now the daughter I remembered at 8 and 9 years old that had rainbow colored tights on and loved to go and try everything has been given back to me because she's no longer afraid. So that's probably been the most rewarding part of doing what we do, is seeing other people have that chance.
Absolutely.
So Morgan's asking, do you find that there are often public spaces for queer trans people, for example, nightlife, events, meetup groups, excluding Pride Month? Fiona?
Yes, absolutely. I can take this one. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. If it's not for like events in a city to public meetups to if you follow the right Instagrams or Facebook groups, which I'm happy to give you that information if you want. People host meetups. They're not always in the same spot. They'll do picnics in the park. They'll take over a boat and they'll all go out and do a boat ride for like 20 euros per person, drinks, and do a sunset cruise. Absolutely, there are public spaces for all queer people, trans people, nightlife as well. Absolutely. If you want any of that information, I'm your girl. I can help you with that. That is a question I can definitely answer.
And I think one thing too to point out is there isn't as much of a designated like gay area in the cities
Exactly. Exactly.
because everybody's kind of welcome everywhere. So I think that is a little bit of a switch for folks, that you don't kind of get
Mhm.
segregated into a neighborhood or something. It's more spread out and there's
Yeah.
things to do, but it's not quite as like if you go down this street, there's 10 gay bars or something like that. It's more just generally different clubs, different parks, different places.
Exactly. Different meetups. You find the communities and they go to places and do stuff together because, like you said, there's not like a designated gay strip or, area like that. It's all over and you just find the places and you find the right people and then you go do that stuff together. It's really, really beautiful.
All
Okay,
right.
we got some thank yous for the helpfulness and thank you,
Absolutely.
Lisa.
Lisa, you guys are going to be here soon. So, it's really exciting to see folks on here that are starting the process and going through the journey. I'm working with a lot of different folks that are navigating this process, and it does feel like you're making a really big step and a leap, because you do have to take a leap of faith. No matter how much we tell you, no matter how much we say that this is how it feels here, you do have to take that deep breath and dive in to experience it. But our community that we have, and we have hundreds of folks here, if not thousands now, that have been moving as a part of our community. That's the feedback that we are consistently getting. They may be fed up with bureaucracy. They may be struggling with the language, trying to learn the language. They may even just find the lack of shopping. We don't have as many options in Portugal. You don't have a salad dressing aisle at the grocery store. You definitely have a different vibe when it comes to sustainability and capitalism and access to things immediately. It's a very different feeling. Those things we hear people talk about trying to adjust to. What we don't hear is fear, anxiety over being their authentic self, feeling like they've been marginalized, or microaggressions. And that to us is the peace of mind that we have, because we know this country is very authentic in the way they treat people.
Great. That was great.
Amber, is there a retirement visa for Portugal? Absolutely. It's the D7 visa. It's the passive income visa. So it's a very straightforward visa to apply for. It is based off of passive income, and that can be pensions, social security, dividends, rental income. It's not specifically for retirees. So if you happen to be of an age where you've built your income and you have rental properties, or you have other passive streams, disability, a variety of things, it all comes under the passive income visa, which in Portugal is the D7, and it's a very low threshold. You need to meet some minimum requirements. You need to have the minimum amount is the minimum monthly wage here in Portugal, which rounds up to about 900 euros a month. And then you need to show 1 year of that in your bank account. And then beyond that, there's just some paperwork, background check requirements, and of course, accommodations. It's very straightforward, and it's probably the most popular visa for people to relocate to Portugal. All right. So, thank you. Thank you. I love talking to people from the Pacific Northwest. It's great to have folks from all over the country, but of course, it's always fun to see people here from my neck of the woods, so to speak. So, all right. So do we have additional questions, Fiona? What do we have
N
here
I
to
don't see any more right now, no.
Okay. Well, I'm going to put this out here for anyone that has additional questions. Feel free. We'll give a couple more minutes if something comes to mind. And then also, so you can reach out to us at Portugal the Place. You can go to portugaltheplace.com and you can schedule a consultation call. We are absolutely committed to walking you through the whole entire process. We don't have a fee for that call, so please feel that you are welcome. We want to be there and give you the very clear answers because I know it can be confusing. Fiona and I are really proud of the fact that we've been able to be a part of this community. We just came back from Rome. If you saw any of our Instagram or any of our
Yeah.
posting, we were at
Which
Rome.
Pride and yeah, Rome Pride was amazing as well. That was
Oh my
just
gosh.
what, last week? Yeah, seriously,
It
we had a
was
really good Pride month.
It was incredible. We went to Rome Pride and we're like dancing on the street with thousands of people under the Colosseum. And that's another piece that you can't forget. When you move to Portugal, you will have access to the rest of Europe and to these other places that you can explore and experience. And it's one of the favorite parts that we have to being here in Portugal is this chance to expand our knowledge and experiences. And Pride, I will never forget being there with Fiona and dancing underneath the Coliseum.
Seeing the gladiators.
Yeah, the gladiators were fun and just being wrapped up in all of that love. So, we're
We do
here.
have another question, actually. We
Yes,
have two
yes,
more
Sherry.
questions.
Okay, so you have a specific question regarding when to move. My daughter will be in high school. I want to give her ample time to start. Which month should we move, July or August? So, when you're saying you want to have ample time to start, if you wanted to move in the summer, you need to start your visa process in the winter. So, for example, if you wanted to move in 2026 in July or August, you'd want to start that process in November so that you have the ramp up time to get your accommodations, to have the wait time for the visa, and then get her here. You can have her registered before you arrive and then get her here so she can get settled in, have time to get comfortable with the surroundings, and then start school. So for most of our folks with kids, that's the cadence that they're on is we start the process of getting prepared for the visa in the winter so that you have kind of you want to work backwards 6 months from the date you want to live in Portugal. And I would really suggest getting here in July of the year that you want to move so that you have that time to get settled in. All right.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
And how long is the processing of visas taking nowadays? It's still for the first stage from your consulate appointment in the United States. That's where you need to apply from your home country in the United States. It's taking from the moment that you apply about 90 days to get your visa. So we always accommodate that. We always suggest that you plan for that 3 month time period. And then once that travel permit is issued, you have 90 days to relocate at that point. So we use that rule of thumb as if you're targeting July as your date, then you'd be looking at like December, January as when you'd want to have your kind of get started on all your paperwork so that you have your appointment 3 months before you want to move. So it's all strategic. Everything just kind of has to lay into place and we'll help you walk through that process. If that's something that you want to work with us, we'll get you through all those different key steps. And Jennifer's asking, how much are you able to travel in the Schengen while also abiding by the residency time requirements? So you have to be you can come and go really quite often. So the rule is you need to be in the country 180 days. So you need to be in Portugal 180 days. You can travel out of the country for a week here, 2 weeks there, and it's absolutely fine. Where you run into challenges is, for example, you can't go and live in Spain for 3.5 months and then come back to Portugal. That's not allowed. So there is it falls off. It's one of those calendars that falls off the back. So if you're coming and going on trips and traveling 2 weeks here, 1 week there, you really never feel it. It's if you were trying to leave for extended periods of time that you have to be careful with that 180 days in the country.
Oh,
All right. You're welcome, Kim. We're really excited to be here. Oh, we love you too, Dawn. This was great. We're really, really happy to be here for you all. If you think of any other topics or any questions that you have, please reach out to Fiona via the email.
yes, absolutely.
We're going to be sending this recording out with our next webinars listed on there as well, so you'll be able to set those up. And if there's anything else that you think of, just schedule a call. We are happy to speak with you and go over the process. But again, thank you so much for joining
Thank
us.
you so much. Thank you. Happy Pride. Seriously, I'm so happy I was on here too. Thank you for
This was
all the
fun.
questions. Yeah, this was fun. We might do this again. Seriously,
I
thank you
know.
for all the questions and
I might not let you be behind the scenes anymore. You're just going
oh
to have to
God.
be on the call with me. Look what you've done. Now you're stuck up front. So you, you guys are fantastic. The community that we have been so blessed to be a part of here and extends to all of you has just been amazing. And anything again that we can do to help you navigate this process, we are excited to be here. So thank you so much.
Thank
And
you so much, you guys.
we will
Happy
all
Pride.
happy Pride. We'll see you again. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.